What's up, everybody? Pretty excited to be able to talk about right now as far as shows that's happening at this moment. Obviously, it's my favorite show going on, and I think a lot of people that are watching it is enjoying it, but let's get everybody's take right after this. All right, guys, we just watched Penguin. Unless I'm messing up, it is episode 4 of the Penguin that was just released. And yeah, I mean, like, we watched this thing together. That's part of the thing about being part of the coffee or, you know, whatever, like coming in and being able to watch like shows together with different people and like your friends or whatnot and everything else. And it's kind of cool to be able to do that, like that we do. And there's a decent amount of shows or something like that I may make some jokes or I may talk about certain things and bring up certain points during the show. Didn't do it this week. Didn't want to talk too much this week. Didn't want to miss anything. So with that being said, let's go down the line. So Brandi, first impressions. We just got through watching the episode. What'd you think?
It was a very powerful episode. We kind of got Sophia's pretty much origin story there, and how she came to be the person she is now. Very interesting. I won't say a lot because Justin makes fun of me when I like tell the whole the whole episode.
You can talk about like a certain things, but it's just funny because like you'll start breaking down like
I'm going to break down every. I will break down.
We'll call it the Brandi breakdown.
Pretty much that's what we should have, the Brandi breakdown. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was a very powerful episode. A lot of things I absorbed. A lot of, like, I was very much zoned into that, where I didn't even, we were watching it together, I paid no attention to the guys and I was just zoned into the
but I mean, not a lot of us talked. I mean, like, there was a couple of moments that you could giggle about something or something like that, and it happened like maybe 3 times the entire like hour or so that we watched it together, and it was in just a couple of little moments, but even that wasn't like big reactions or anything. Everybody was pretty much being quiet and watching the episode.
Yeah, so how we start off is Brandi breakdown. Well, we start off by the end of the episode of last season, the last episode last week. Not last season, last week, of her and Oz being held by the other family's wife, and she finds out that pretty much Oz betrayed her again. Like, so she got hurt, and so she called her therapist dude that was there when she got put into Arkham, but then we see like she was like a good girl. She did the her mother's foundation and she was the speaker at it, and then she got approached by a lady that said she was part of that, but she was actually a reporter, and all these women had gotten hurt and killed, and they were the same way, they got killed the same way the mother did. And we find out Sophia is the one that actually finds the mother hanging when she was a little girl, and she just remembered little things about the details that was on her mother when, you know, that they said that she was sick and depressed, but she never saw her mother sick and depressed, and her father told her that her mother hid it.
Mm-hmm.
So then when she's talking to the reporter, the Penguin informs the father about this, and they come up with a plan to say that Sophia is sick, and they get her taken away when she's absolutely fine. There's
can't hurt the family. You can't hurt the family.
No,
like,
so he thought that she was going. She was talking to a reporter, which she did tell the reporter, like, I don't, you know, I'm not talking to you. Like, this is ridiculous you're saying about my father. You know, the only person that really had her back was her brother. So now we understand a little bit of why she had this connection with her brother, because her brother was the only one that was there for her and was trying to get her out. But all of her family was against her. And they all wrote letters about how crazy she was. You see that the father has the police in his pocket. He has the doctors in his pocket. Like, everybody is so making it seem like Sophia's crazy. And we just see her journey of how she actually goes down that path of actually kind of being a little bit crazy. But it was an very interesting story that I was very enthralled into. I won't say everything else, but go ahead, Greg. Sorry. Brandi breaks down a little bit. Little bit. Well, there was more, but I especially love the end.
I like to get everybody's first reactions. Kind of like we just got through watching it. Like, what did you feel about the episode, kind of thing, and then we could talk about all the other stuff.
Yeah, no, it was very powerful. It was a very powerful.
Greg, go ahead.
I don't get a cool name like Brandi Breakdown, but I'll go ahead and spill what I like. It was like a mini Sophia movie. Like, it was like a little movie. It reminded me a little bit of the newer Joker.
Yeah,
it was like really, you just followed her whole story, and you find out a lot of juicy stuff about how, like, what happened to her, what is actually going on, and then it climaxes at the end where you see what happens. So it's a beautiful kind of Sophia arc right there, like a little episode. And I thought it was just really well done. We were all locked in. It was just like super good episode.
Totally agree with you guys. Love this episode for a few different reasons, a few big reasons and stuff. Because I'm a big I love horror movies. I don't just love horror movies. I do dives into like true crime stuff or whatever as well. Right. Yeah. That's why, even though Brandi's doesn't want to, because she lives in the same town, Lizzie Borden, whatever happened. Like, I'd like to go stay at that place, right? Because I find that kind of stuff fascinating or whatever. And the thing about it is, though, if you do any kind of deep dives or pay attention to any true crime or whatever, you find out all these people that were evil, maybe they had something inside of them that just needed to be cracked open for them to become evil, but all of them had to go through some crap. Then they became who they were.
Yeah.
None of them had none of them that I've really dug deep into had this fabulous life where their parents treated them well and all this stuff. Now, not saying that it never comes from people that have a pretty cool life, because it can for different reasons. But especially when you're talking about someone who's serial killer or a mass killer or something like that, there's usually some issues going on behind the scenes, something like that. They had struggles in life, pretty much. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some off the wall cases that happens or whatever, but in most cases, there's some crap to go through. This show did that beautifully, because without a doubt, bar none, you can like this character. I like Sophia as a character, but that's because I like evil bastards. Okay. She's evil.
But she wasn't always.
No, that's true. But a lot of people, when you're
like I said, this is her origin story.
That's my whole point in saying what I said, because most people don't start out evil. They have things that happen that makes them that way. In the character, in the story that we're doing now in present day, she's evil.
Oh yeah, now she's and
it's not just because she kills her family, because I mean they're bad guys, so you can kind of try to justify that, right? But the main reason that I would say she's evil is because she knows how she started was that she found her mom dead. And then as she grew up, she had to deal with that. And that's what ended up being the thing that ended up getting her in trouble, was her trying to find out what happened to her mom, because she loved her mom. She wanted to know the truth. Well, in this episode, there's a little girl.
Her cousin.
And she just did to that little girl the same thing that caused her to ultimately go down this path. Because that little girl now has no parents. And I would even say that them parents, they were just part of the family. I don't think they had anything to do with any of the super bad stuff or whatever. They were just afraid. No. They were just afraid.
No.
And didn't want to die. Like, no, what? Well, what did they do?
Did you watch the same episode I just did? The paper, when they said that people wrote stuff about her, Carla Beatty, that was the mother.
Shit.
Yes,
that's obvious.
Yes.
But why did she do that?
Because
that woman has no standing. She's literally afraid for her life. She's afraid for her daughter. That's why she doesn't want her daughter to like get involved with any of the
afraid
Sophia
because
stuff.
She did something wrong against her cousin that they grew up and she loved because they got along. And they used to do when they were younger, go on vacation stuff. And you said that you seen that in the other episode that she said that. But the father is getting.
Why did she write the letter?
Because the father
is because she's scared to death. She's scared.
Not scared of her.
No, she's scared of the father. That's why she wrote the thing and sent it in. She wasn't doing that because she hated Sophia. Afraid. Exactly.
They were all against her.
Like you can say, yeah, that was crappy for her to do. That's immoral. Mm-hmm. But she's scared for her life. So can you blame her for writing the thing? No, because like if she didn't go through with it, guess who's dead? She's dead. She doesn't have the daughter. But that point aside.
But they all did it.
That point aside.
The only one that didn't was the brother.
What do you think that daughter now that we have in that episode is going to be doing? The same thing. Not now. Her path
may be raised by somebody else.
Probably like 2 or 3 different outcomes. Probably either she's going to be crazy, and she's going to have some psychological issues. She's going to go on a revenge path and come back, or
she gets raised by somebody that's not in the business, and she turns out okay.
And Sophia in her own sick mind, or maybe like her own mind, I don't want to say her sick mind, but her own mind could be like.
No, that's sick. I mean, at this point, it's sick. Now, when you talk about the first part of this episode, she's perfectly fine. She's trying to do the right thing. She's probably the only innocent one, like she says at her speech towards the end of the episode, before everybody goes to bed and we see what happens. Like, she's right. She was the innocent one. She was just doing like even good deeds in the public that made the family look good and everything. Like, she was totally innocent.
She was doing until that
point, up until the point that she snaps. But yeah, go ahead, Greg.
No, I'm saying like obviously she's an agenda to take everybody out, but like she could also be like looking in her mind. She had a little talk with a little girl, like you don't have to be worried about it. You're not going to be scared about anything anymore now. Everything, you know, talking about taken care of in there.
Yeah,
because they're gone.
She said she didn't.
Oh yeah, well, a lot
and
of
her mother's like. Yeah. The mother said that she was like did bad things, and she's like, yeah, I did bad things because the monsters came after me, and I had to fight the monsters. Yeah. She did have to fight a lot of monsters,
and a lot of bad things start with something good.
Mm-hmm. But she wasn't. She wasn't a bad. She wasn't a bad person. You've seen her doing she was doing the foundation stuff in her mother's name and stuff. It didn't come about like the reporter came to her and with all this information, and she went and talked to her and saw all these things, but she didn't want anything to do with the reporter. She was sticking up for her father, and then the father just decided, oh well, you were talking to this and it all unraveled because of Oz Penguin letting the father know that she was talking to this reporter.
Oz comes off as a piece like in this one because like he not only betrayed her. And you saw the whole everything that she went through, but he also killed the brother.
He did.
Yeah, so you're like
the brother who was the only one that stood up for her, the only one that was on her side. Yeah. But Oz didn't know what the father was going to do. I believe he didn't, but he was trying to use her as his own agenda to get higher up into the
that's one of the best things. The thing like you just kind of brought up is one of the best things about watching a show like this with people with competent writers and they can write good stories that make you feel right. So they're so smart and intelligent with it. We know Oz is supposed to be a bad guy. We know Sophia's crazy for whatever reason, right? And we get these crazy. We get these underlying like things and the underlying issues that happens, that occurs, the mistakes that each character makes and everything else. We're following throughout that whole thing. But here goes the deal. Like even with Oz, right? So like Greg said, he kind of seems like a piece of shit. But at the same time, like he had that also, like I said, a lot of bad things start with like good intentions. Like I actually believe him as a character because at this point, he's starting to get to a precipice where he the roads are going to start to verge, and he's going to have to pick something to do. I literally think that he's telling the truth in the car when he says, like, I don't think he was being an asshole about it. I think he actually truly cared for Sophia. I literally think he was that person. It's kind of like you got a friend of yours that's into a bad crowd, or a friend of yours that's like, maybe they were getting into drugs and they were doing it too hard or something like that, right? And you may go to, say, their mom, or you tell somebody that might be able to stop them, like to stop doing what they're doing, because you know that's going to cause ultimate harm. And then whenever you do that, right? So obviously the person that you kind of rat out, even if it's for a good reason, gets in some kind of trouble. And then sometimes they may blame you. And that's the thing that I think happened here with the Penguin is like, look, if you keep like going and meeting these people and you were to get caught like red-handed, like you're dead. I want this to stop. So I'm just going to go tell, like, and you got to think about it in his head. This is her dad, right? So like, even if she's going to get punished, you would never think that the way he punishes her is in the way that he ends up doing it. You're like, oh, she's going to get grounded for a month. You know what I'm saying? She's going to have to like stay at the house. She's not going to be able to leave freely. Maybe she's going to get watched. They're going to put somebody with them to make sure and keep an eye on her or something like that. But if you're Penguin's character, you're not thinking, bro, her dad's going to throw her in Arkham, and not just throw her in there for like a punishment for like a month or two. He's going to leave her in there and then have the whole entire family turn the back on her and turn around and like make her stay in there for as long as she was in there for. Yeah, for a decade. So if you're a Penguin spot, you're not thinking that her father would do that. Like in a normal brain, nobody would think that someone's father would do that to them. Not that, of course, punish them. And maybe because he's a mob boss, he does it in a fucked up way, but not in that kind of way. Like he's, like you said, Brandi, earlier, like the dad set this up. Like, bro, like you're going to ask him to be in here, and now you're going to stay in here, and everything else. And the crazy part about it is like she was on the right there at the verge of being able to be the runner of the family. Her dad respected her, and then she starts digging into things that she shouldn't be digging into.
She didn't start digging into. The lady found her.
No, she already did. When she was asking her father questions, that's why they have the scene where they're sitting
because
at the table
lady,
and she starts asking those questions to him.
That's because
she
the lady
already
knows.
She flashbacks to him having the scar.
Because the lady talked to her and said the things. So that's what triggered the things. Yeah. Because the lady, the reporter, who she thought wasn't, she didn't know she was a reporter at first.
Right, but she starts asking.
Yes, because the lady is the one that put it into her head about all these other women.
That doesn't mean anything, though. Like, she chooses to start asking her dad the questions.
Yeah, now that these other women had died the same way that her mother did. She didn't know about them dying the same way her mom did until this lady told her. The club that her father owns. So she didn't know until that moment. And then it started clicking things that she remembered about her dad.
Right. I think I'm messing up here. I think I may be freezing, but maybe it won't be as bad on the recording because it has a separate recording thing. So
you're good, Daddy.
Hold on.
But yeah, it was a very she didn't know about it until the lady said stuff to her, and then it got her in her mind. So yeah, we're taking over. It's a Brandi and Greg takeover.
Yeah, she questioned the brother even too. Like she started to pick away at things.
Yeah, the father didn't trust the brother, and he did have trust in her. And then when he found out that she was talking to this lady, that's when it all.
Yeah, and I think the pink one just does whatever he has to keep moving up the ladder. I don't think he really cared. I don't think he really cared what happened to her. Like, I think maybe like I think it's all because he killed her brother later, and then was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and do this drug thing, and you're never gonna know that I killed your brother."
Yeah. Well, at first he didn't realize. I don't think he realized what the father would have done to her. Like he was trying to obviously, you're the bottom of the totem pole. He was her driver. That's like the lowest of the low in that thing. So he came back and he was like, yeah, hey. So she was talking to this reporter, and he didn't realize that the impact that was going to have and what that father was going to do to her. So
yeah, but what I was trying to say when everything was going to crap on my end was that, like, obviously, like, you're right. So that got her to start thinking about it more. But the way she was asking the questions is like, what do you think your dad's going to think?
That was
What do you think
only
your dad's
until that
gonna think?
lady. You know, that was only till that lady came and said something to her. The way that these killings
Yeah,
were
but
of
when
the
you
other
start
ones.
asking the questions,
Yes, but
her
that's what.
dad's gonna
But
be like, "Yo,
but her
dog,
mother,
oh shit!" Like,
her
she's
mother
already trying to
died when
think
she
something.
was like what? She would look like she was like 7 or 8 years old. So, you know, like that was a long time ago, and she's now an adult.
Okay,
So she didn't put this together until the lady came and said that these people that died that worked in her father's clubs.
Yeah,
You know,
so she got more evidence, but the thing about it is like she gets that evidence, and instead of being quiet until she knows for sure and thinks on it, she decided to start asking them questions. All that does is perk up
well,
the
that's
antenna.
because Oz
Boop, boop,
told
boop,
on
boop.
her that she
No,
had met with the lady.
she talks to her dad talking about the birthday gift, the things you're talking about with like the penguin and stuff afterwards when he kind of rats her out or whatever is after that fact. Her dad tells her at the table, I'm going to give you the family. You're going to take care of it. And people's going to like listen to me whenever I tell you, because they're supposed to listen to me whenever I tell them to do things.
House of the Dragon.
Yep. And then she starts asking the questions right afterwards. Like, yeah, same thing as House of the Dragon to a certain point, right? But like she starts digging into it right there at the table. And then she tries to change the subject about his birthday gift and like what to get him or whatever. And he's obviously already like, why is she bringing that up now? Right? Yeah. Now that's suspicious. So now her father's like, oh shit. Because if she starts talking her mess and keeps digging, she's going to cause problems for the family. Right? That's what I'm saying. It's like these people are doing bad and evil things, but they're all doing it for their good reason. Like I said, I think Penguin actually tells on her because he's trying to help her, and he doesn't think her dad's going to go that far. Little does he know, her dad's freaking. He's a freaking mod boss.
He's not trying to help her. He's trying to help himself because he says something to it, and then he's climbing up. That's why he got the new jacket. He wasn't in the driver jacket no more. He come in, and she's like, "Oh, you're looking nice." Like what? You know.
Yeah. No, I mean I totally agree. But how many times do you do things, whether it be good or bad?
He's got to do everything he can to climb the ladder.
But everybody does things like everybody does things for their own gain in some way, right? So even if technically, in that example that I gave earlier, if you're talking about like a friend that maybe starts doing drugs and you're trying to help them out and whatever, you helping them out is in a way still selfish because why? You're wanting to have your friend still around. You don't want your friend to be like messed up. That's because you have the relationship with that friend and you want to be able to keep that relationship, right? So like every little thing that we do as people, in some ways, we are going to do to benefit us. Like, period, right?
From a certain point of view.
Yeah. Well, there's from a certain point of view, but almost everything you do is to benefit you, right? You get up and go eat so that you will be full or that you won't be hungry anymore. Like all the stuff that we do is in a way like for us, bar none. So like, yes, Penguin is, I think, doing what he thinks is right, but he's also getting a benefit from it. And he's the type of person, because he's a bad person, that's not going to like turn that down. That because he could have went about this different ways, right? Like you're right. He could have went about this by talking to her personally and maybe seeing where it goes from there. He could have talked to like someone else maybe that could have like tried to step in without going straight to the dad. Maybe he could have went to her brother and been like, hey, we got to stop this. We got to work together. I know you love your sister and stuff. So before it gets to your dad, because like then like all hell's going to break loose and I don't want her to die. I actually care for her. So he could have did different things that would have been technically better. Yes, he's a bad character. So he did I think he was trying to do a good thing, but at the same time, also be selfish. Like he wanted to help himself. He wanted to like raise up.
He didn't want to be the driver anymore.
As soon as she said
to be the driver.
As soon as he said, shut up, you're just a driver. I was like, all right, we're gonna take this bitch out. Yeah. we got something on. We're just waiting.
That's true.
Just waiting for something.
That's true because she did show like care for him and stuff, and then like he's trying to help her out. Like in that scene where he sees her with the reporter, he tries to talk, and then she shuts his ass down. So like, this is why I'm talking about. This is why we can have this discussion because the freaking show's written so well. Because as soon as you say, oh, the Penguin's the more evil person, he's the douchebag. Well, you can look at her and say, she's the douchebag. You can say, no, she started this, right? She started the like looking into like what was going on with her mom. But she also, in that scene, tells him to shut up. Like, you're just a driver. She throws him to the side. She betrays him in that moment. So, like, when he betrays her, he kind of betrays. She started it by treating him like garbage. In that, like, she cared. I think she cared for him, and she was obviously upset because she found out some news that may implicate her father into being the person that might have killed her mom or whatever, right? So, like, she finds that information out. So I get she's upset, but in that moment, she takes it out on him and treats him like total trash. Like, he's nothing. You're nothing. You're a driver. Shut up. Drive. That's what she said. Okay. So that's the cool part about the show, though.
I'm going to drive you right to the asylum.
Yeah, I'm going to drive your ass right to your daddy and tell on you. Like, for real, like, he got shut down. So, like, she ultimately, when you look at it, actually, from that scene on, you can say she's the reason why, or yeah, she's the actual reason that Penguin ended up doing what he did, that ended up getting her in trouble, that turned her into her, which then could still go back to being her fault. Like, but that's crazy about the show. You can go through all these lines, you can go through all these scenes, and like you can have like your own opinion on certain things, and you can go from there. But that's what's cool about the show, is because you can have that and you can discuss it like we're doing now, and any of that stuff makes sense. Like, any of that, like whatever you want to say makes sense.
Not a good move to ask your head of mob boss family's dad, who may also be a serial killer, kind of like try to ask him questions, right?
Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, that's your dad. Like, you should never talk to him about it ever.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not. I don't want to mention that.
Maybe you try to sneakily. Maybe she could try to have sneakily like got away from the family somehow, like go on one of those trips that her and her friend that she ended up killing at the end of this episode
her cousin
went on. Her cousin, like killing her cousin like that. So like, and then what? And she just disappears, like doesn't come back, kind of thing. Like, she could have did things like that or whatever, and then tried to maybe do something from afar. But nah, man. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's a bad situation to be in. But when you start, because he like, so the evil crime boss dad, who's an evil bastard as well, guess what? He's also doing what he thinks good, and that's protecting his family. If she goes rogue and she gets out there and starts to say something and maybe talks to this reporter one more time, now the whole family gets like thrown in jail.
She wasn't going to.
I'm going down for murder.
But he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that.
No, but she only knew about that is because Oz said she was talking to this reporter.
Yeah.
She only said something about the mother, and she's like, I didn't know she was, like, I didn't see her being depressed. And that's when he said, your mother hid things. That was before the talk at the table with them. But she wasn't looking into it. This lady brought it to her.
Well, I don't truly think that even the mob boss is the technical hangman. I think the hangman was a serial killer, and I think what the father did. Hold on.
The father.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Conspiracy.
Before, yeah. So the hangman was a person out there killing these women, right? Because why would the mob boss be wanting to kill the women unless he's like a sadistic guy, right? Like, and what have you?
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, a mob boss is going to send
That's why she asked the brother.
Hold on.
That's why
a lot of
she
times
asked
the mob boss is going to send his lackey to go kill people like that, right? Like, if there's some women out there that know something or whatever. But what I'm saying is, I think because there was a serial killer out there that was killing these women, his wife found out something, just like the daughter ends up doing when it comes to her mom and her mom's death. The wife found out something, and she was going to say something, or she didn't like it, and she kept doing things that going to be possibly getting everybody in trouble or whatever. And then he did what is called a copycat, where he sets it up like he's the So you can say no all you want.
I think no, because this was She said
there's no moment in this show so far that shows the dad being a sadistic killer. You can imply that because they try to show, these murders are done the same way. But where's the proof, Brandi? Where is your proof that the father was a sadistic killer? When does he ever do anything in the show?
He went to the club, and the girl, and she asked the brother about the father dating any other women, seeing any. So these guys, you've seen the other guy, he cheated with the wife, and that.
Yeah, so he's cheating, but how does that make him the hangman?
He's a mob boss. Like, he fucking kills people just because. Like, he's a mob boss.
Every story that we're told,
they were only women who didn't have a family. They started working at this club, which was, I guess, owned by him, and they go disappear. And he knew they didn't have family, and he probably started in like relationships with them. And when they got too close to something, like he did to his daughter, he sent her to fucking Arkham Asylum. Excuse me, he sent her to Arkham. So he's a mob boss. You're gonna have to take him out.
Stuff. Right, that's the thing.
Take him out.
Is the mob boss going to do evil stuff? But the mob boss, like, let's say if somebody gets close to the thing, how many movies have you seen? Okay, how many movies have you seen with mob bosses where they're the ones that actually do the killing? Unless they're in some kind of shootout because somebody pulls guns out. Other than that, guess what they do? They send old Billy Bob over here that's standing in a corner looking all creepy.
But the father had no fear. He didn't fear nobody. He was going to take care of things himself, and he did.
I mean, you can, like, that's a point of view you can have, but I just don't see it.
I see it.
There's some movies that I've watched that, like, where it shows like a rich man that has had everything, for some reason craves like killing people, like
yeah, but you still get that enjoyment. Like, I get what you're saying, Greg, too, but you still get that enjoyment as like a mob boss being in control.
Everybody in his pocket.
Like, he's still killing them, but he doesn't have to like do it himself. Because here's the thing. So explain to me how
he has everybody in his pocket. He's killing them and he's getting them off. And he has the cops in his pocket.
Explain to me how a mob boss that is that smart to basically take over a city. There's like another family out there that maybe they're struggling with power back and forth, but he at least has control of like half the city or whatever, gains power, gets his family all the way up there. They're sitting on their top of their hill. He's smart enough to have the law on his side, even the people at Arkham Asylum on the side. He's that smart. Tell me if he was the actual person that say killed all those women. Tell me if he's the one that killed all those, like the other women, right? Why he would be the stupidest person ever to literally make his house a crime scene with the mother.
He has the police in his pocket. They made it seem like he made it seem like the girl was crazy.
Well, they don't have everybody. He's got certain people in his pocket.
Pictures were hidden. The girl found them. They weren't all put out. Then nobody, the cops, they hid it. They didn't pursue it.
Yeah, but she's just a reporter, so she obviously was working with people that were cops to be able to get the pictures. So there are good cops out there. Not every cop's
but the majority of them, the ones that went over and pulled Oz over and pulled her out and arrested her and said that she did all these killings, like they know the father did it. They're in his pocket.
Yeah, because they let him know.
That would just be really stupid, though, to me. Is like,
Greg. Let Greg talk.
No, I said they let him know that the cops probably informed him, the bad cops, that there was a case open on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like what he says, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, oh no, I mean that's obvious stuff, right? Like, so you'll have the bad cops will find out, they're on you. Like that always happens in like mob stories and stuff like that. But my point is like, so you're gonna make your house a crime scene? Like literally, if he killed the mom, if he kills the mom on another property.
But the mother wasn't in that thing. She was killed, but they said that it was she was self-inflicted, that she did it herself. She killed herself. Yeah, so but there was no investigation. There was no investigation into it. And then Sophia knew that there was different things. Like she noticed because with the lady showed her all the pictures that, hey, wait, my mom, I remember some things about my mother that were the same as these women. But the mother wasn't in that pile. So it wasn't a crime scene at that point because the father made it seem like the mother killed herself.
Well, I mean,
that
it's
she
a
was
crime scene when
depressed.
somebody dies anyway. But
Yes,
like they
but
came in and said that she did suicide, right? Because he
yes,
does know the right people. But the
yeah,
thing is
and it
there's
never
the chance, right? There is the chance
it didn't get
that the
investigated.
wrong person sees something and notices it and goes and tells the right person, and now it's blown up out of proportion.
But
There's
this
a
wasn't
high chance of that.
because it was Sophia was a kid then, and now the stuff is she's an adult. She was like 7 or 8 years old, and here she's an adult. So this was all this time. She didn't know. She thought her mom just killed herself, but she never, like she said to her father, I never saw those signs. And the father said, your mother hid it very well.
Yeah, and serial killers usually start off with their first initial kill, and then they kind of like we've seen different like shows and stuff where they say like they start to they still have a taste for it, so they're gonna go do it, but they're gonna learn not to do it. They're gonna keep refining their techniques, their tools, but they're gonna have a familiar pattern.
Yeah, my whole thing is like if he was a serial killer, which I could see him possibly being that, right? He's not just a crime boss, but he's like Greg, you were kind of hitting that earlier. He's got all this power, but he's still like it's like people that have a lot of money but still go steal things. They'll go steal something off the shelf that's like even cheap that they obviously can afford to just buy, but they get the rush from like going in there and stealing it and getting away with it kind of thing. So I could see like that happening, but it just doesn't make sense for him if he does that to like kill her in the house. Or if he doesn't leave her hanging. He does something and puts her somewhere else. But like he doesn't leave your house as a crime scene. That's like serial killer 101. It doesn't matter. Like you're not gonna kill people inside your own place of residence.
Maybe the first kill is just like maybe they get in a fight and he kills her at accident or something, or like it just happens and then he's like, oh shit, I gotta set it up. Like she hung herself, and then he like realizes I like that. I like that.
No. My thing is that I think he killed her, no doubt. But I think he's using this other serial killer that was in the city that's been killing women, and he copied it like that so that when they do come, right? So like they ended up saying it was a suicide, like Brandi said, or whatever. But it's like if somebody did come in and they were like,
killings were after the wife.
You're talking about the actual like 7 women was after the mom?
Were after the wife, yes.
So I mean, well, yeah. So if that's the case, then the mob boss would be like kills his wife first or whatever, makes it look like an accident, and then like goes and does it. Yes, but I don't know if like it would be a different side of the story. They just never really like said it. Like that's why we can have this discussion. That's why I said like the writers are very smart and intelligent.
But the father knew that he did it, and he didn't want his daughter digging into it. So that's why he covered it up so much and made her seem crazy. Like he made the mother seem crazy. So he was doing this to her, but he didn't want to, I guess, kill his daughter like that. So he had her put away.
Yeah. Now, I don't think that the mom ever probably even went crazy. I think the mom found something out, and then it was too bad for her. She got pissed off about it, and then like whatever happens.
Yes.
I was saying, I mean, it could be interesting, I guess, to see, but to me, it was like those murders and stuff like that. But I would say that would be the weakest part. I mean, we've been talking for a while. That to me would be they should have did a better job in the episode, because like we all was sitting there paying attention, making it perfectly clear and not just have one line. Maybe I need to rewatch it because maybe there's a line, because they don't really specify when the murders happen. Like, does the murders happen afterwards or before? Brandy's might be right, like where the murders happen after the mom, but they don't like specify that. They don't bring that up. I don't remember anything in the episode happening. I thought that, I guess you could say that the murders were happened before the mom died or after the mom died. Exactly. Like, and I mean, you may be right, like I said, but that's one that would be my weakness.
Because how would they pin the murders on Sophia? Her mother died when she was like 7. These died after. So
well, no, but like what I'm saying though is it's like her mom was never threw into there.
No, but her mother died before these women, and then Sophia got charged with hanging these women. So she wouldn't be hanging them at 7 years old.
No, but a perfect thing that you could be telling the doctor and stuff whenever they were setting her up is, her mom got killed in the same way.
Yeah.
And then she used that to kill these other women.
They do know that her mother killed was in the same manner. But
no, but what I'm saying though is
the doctors were in the father's pocket because they were
obviously, yeah. But I'm saying,
I'm
like,
sure that was in the testimony and stuff, like the interviews.
If you were trying to prove, this is what I'm saying though. If you were trying to prove,
it was in the testimony.
If you're trying to prove that she's the one that does it, it makes perfect sense for the mom, for her to have found her mom as a kid, and then you say, oh, that drove her to killing other women by hanging them.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, that would be the weakest thing then, because I don't notice anything in there that kind of really specifies, but it makes sense.
Hangman. So she wouldn't be hanging these people at like 5 years old.
Right. So
it was after the mother.
Yeah. No, I know the killings have to happen after the mother on this side of it. Yeah. So her mom would be the first one. What I'm saying is like, it would be a perfect alibi to be like, she found her mom and went crazy and started killing other women like she found her mom.
Yes. That's what they're trying to make it seem like. Yes.
So the mom would have been like the first victim. So yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or the traumatic event that triggered all this.
We got there eventually. It took us like 40 minutes to do it, but we eventually got there.
Hey, listen, man, it's like, it is what it is. Like, it's like I said before we even started talking on any of this stuff, this is what great writing does. Mm-hmm. Like, you can sit here and we can have these discussions. We can talk about every moment, everything that happens in it, and it'd be like a big conversation because it's done correctly. And that's what I love about the show so far. This is why, like, I don't forget that Sunday's Penguin Day because of the simple fact, like, I love football, so there's an easy thing for me to get distracted on. But I know that after Sunday night football, and if that game's garbage, or we start different times according to how the game's going, but I know after Sunday night football, we watching the Penguin, and I look forward to it because every episode, and this episode right here is like so great that you can dig deep into these characters because they give us enough with these characters to actually have some kind of the feelings or emotions or our thoughts, and everything kind of collide. And we, like I said, we can have these, like,
he forgot about Agatha.
Yeah, no, I forgot about Agatha because, like I said, I don't have those same feelings.
I know. That's why whenever you're going around and you're like, I remembered this. I said, because you forgot about Agatha.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Even when Agatha's at its best, it doesn't get me like this, right? Like, so I enjoyed the first couple of episodes of Agatha. I'm starting to not like it as much as we go along the story because it's just like the same thing, you know, and then they just
we'll bring it back to Penguin here.
But I am bringing it back to Penguin because that's the whole point I'm trying to make here is
I have 29% on my phone.
When you watch so we got a pretty good like half an hour still. So when you watch a story like the Penguin, like that's what I'm talking about. Is like the way this is how this is how you make great shows. No doubt about it. This is how you make great shows. Like, okay, for instance, with that, like parallels, we got Sophia, and then we got our Lady Death, Audrey Hepburn's character in the other one.
Audrey Plaza, not Hepburn.
Audrey Plaza. Okay, I said the wrong one. But Aubrey Plaza, right? So we have these two characters. They're both supposed to be kind of evil and like quirky.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who did it better?
They're evil in different. They're evil in different ways.
No. I'm talking about adding that quirkiness, that little bit of silliness to it. Guess who did it better? Sophia did tonight. No, Sophia did it tonight. She just killed this whole family that's in this thing, and she even left the window open. That she was in that dude's room, like whenever she leaves the window half cracked. Because that's why he's not dead on old Vita.
Oh, yeah.
Vita or whatever. He's not dead because she left the window open so the gas wouldn't stay in there. So she knew he was fine. That's why she grabs the gun or whatever. But why
she took the gas mask off.
Yeah. But her evil ass going down there, she takes the little thing off and she kind of throws it to the side. Then she does like almost like a little dance motion as she grabs the thing to put back on it, to screw it back on. She does it like in a quirky, silly manner. Then she's like walking through the house with dead bodies, and every now and then she adds a little skip to her step, like she's skipping through the dandelions.
Definitely
like
reminds
as
me of
there's dead
Joker and
bodies.
like Harley Quinn.
But yes, dude, that's how it's done. She did it better in this show than a character that's all they're supposed to be about. This person in one episode, in that one moment of her walking through the house, does that evil but with the quirky, silly thing mixed in better.
I thought she was going to blow the house
Yeah,
up.
I thought you blow the whole house up.
I was thinking that too. But like I said, I liked everything she did. Like, for one, the actress, because she was the main character.
Yeah.
And this is also.
Is it Christine?
I like to use examples so people can know. So, like, one example here with this is like the Book of Boba Fett. A lot of people had an issue because the book of like Boba Fett, the character, and like 2 of the episodes really wasn't hardly there, period, at all. Right? He wasn't even part of his own show. The penguin was pretty much missing from this episode, except for the beginning parts of her story where she gets sent to Arkham. But they did this so well, and it fits the story so well, and it came back to him that, like, you don't care that the technical main character that the show's about, Penguin, is missing for most of it. She knocked it out of the park. The actress that plays Sophia, boom, Emmys.
You know,
like, look, if she doesn't win an Emmy, I would even say Colin. If he doesn't win an Emmy, the Penguin, even the kid that they've got so far, Victor, that's part of this show. If them 3 don't win some kind of Emmys for this show, it's rigged. It's rigged so far for this year. It's rigged, because I even say this is done, and I think this story got done at this perfect timing because of that writer strike and everything that we had, like in that perfect window where the writers still got pretty much what they needed done, and they waited some more time, right? Because this came out a little later. Like House of the Dragon suffered from that because they were supposed to have 10 episodes. They had to shorten it to 8. That's why you didn't get a big battle at the end, is because they didn't have the time because of the writer's strike to be able to do that. So they made the decision, we're going to end it here. And then season 3 is going to have all these battles and shit. And it's going to be pretty like amazing and everything. And a lot of people were let down for House of the Dragon. But I'm telling you right now, I think House of the Dragon was a super good show. I know some people don't love like the last episode because it wasn't that big, humongous thing at the end. I'm forgiving them for it. But I would say this show is written as well, or even maybe even better than the House of Dragon, which is an IP that I love, and I think they're doing a damn good job with the House of Dragon so far. Like, this thing is like blowing me out of the water so much. I didn't even, it's hitting me. I'm getting sucker punched because I don't even know where it's coming from. I don't even care for the Penguin as a character. Like, if it was like I like the Joker and I like some of the other villains, like even like Poison Ivy and stuff, better than the Penguin. But this show is coming out of nowhere, man. And it's just because these people are putting a damn good story together. This don't even have to be Batman. This could have been a mob boss family story where a driver that was kind of had a limp or whatever, right, that didn't look very good, was trying to rise up above the ranks, don't have shit to do with Batman, and it would still be an amazing story.
That's what it is. It doesn't have nothing to do with Batman. This Batman's not in here.
I actually like a lot of the things, like, so a lot of the stuff with like the father having more control and stuff is obviously before Batman, because the Batman that we get in the movie that this is supposed to be sort of like a sequel to is that Batman is not like the super old Batman or anything. Like, he's still kind of younger, like probably still in his 20s or so, if I would have had to guess, like watching the last Batman movie that came out. And so to me, I think it's kind of cool that a lot of the things that you see with the Falcone family, especially in this episode, was before Batman would even be old enough to even do anything. Hell, Batman's mom and dad's probably still alive at the moment that the stuff is going on when she was a little kid. And like she first gets thrown into the thing. But now obviously we're like progressing to the story where Batman's out there. So things are going to be a little different. Man, I just wish this show could have, like, I think it's so stupid. The way these shows spend the money now, it's not, they don't spend cheap money now. They spend as much on shows as sometimes movies. Throw my man Robert Pattinson some like couple of dollars, man, to show up in like the final episode or some shit, man, and have Batman. Like, I just don't understand why they make these shows and then say, "Oh, we can't have Batman," because, like, you know, bro, shut the hell up, put him in here, man. Like, I don't want the Batman to be a big part. It would be cool though if something happened towards the end and Batman like shows up because it got too crazy. Like, so you don't have to make up excuses of why Batman's not there. So their excuse for the first part of this show that we're doing is that all those bombs were set off, and they're saying that the Batman is basically like going out there and helping, taking care of people that, like, you know, died, or like helping find bodies and all this other stuff, right? Being like a good citizen like Batman would be, and trying to help with some of the crime, like normal crime. So that's why he's not technically like right there in the action. But sometimes I wish they could do that kind of stuff. But let's hurry up. We already almost talked an hour. Let's go through, and this might even spark a couple more minutes of conversation, but let's go through Brandi. Favorite moment and least favorite moment. Now, this one, go to Greg first. So, Greg, we'll skip her, go to you. But favorite moment in the episode, least favorite, and this is obviously the least favorite. It's not even going to be a bad scene. I don't know of a bad scene in this thing. This is going to be my hard decision to have up there.
Yeah, favorite is the Arkham stuff. I think seeing the progression of her, like, go through her trials but still have hope, and then that moment of hope is taken away when her brother comes through, and now she just kind of loses it and deals with all of her stuff. I think that transition was beautiful. I thought it was well done. That whole setup.
Yeah, but she bashes Magpie's like head in. By the way, Magpie's actually a villain from old school Batman comics, but she ain't gonna be she dead already. She makes an appearance and dies, so she dead.
Remind me of Harley.
Yeah, and then I guess it just creeped me out, the relationship, the creepy between the therapist and her. That whole, like, I don't know, like innuendos, maybe that they had, you know, something going on or whatever, and it got really close. I was like, kind of creepy.
I actually agree, because like when we had, it was either the first or second episode that we did when I think it may have been in the first episode, but she was seeing him. That's the same guy that she saw like in the first or second episode. And like Brandi brought up like the way he was like holding her and stuff. But see, I think this was cool. This is also great writing that they just don't put it on like, oh, this guy is obviously just like a creep. Because in this episode, it was the opposite to me. She's the one that made it weird. She's the one in this episode that made it weird. She comes to him, calls him, he helps her out. He's obviously helping her out. He doesn't do anything wrong or bad. He's like trying to do whatever he can. And he even admits, even in that scene where they're together, that he's like, hey, I just feel bad because I tried to do something there, but I couldn't do anything because I wasn't in charge. And now I'm trying to make up for it. I'm trying to help you because I feel bad for what happened to you in Arkham. Yeah. He literally admits that. And then she's the one that like starts talking her little thing and then starts getting creepily really close to him and leaning in. He stood straight up. You know?
No, he looked like he wanted to kiss her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, like, he likes her. Like, but she's the one that brings up how you were looking at me and stuff, and she's the one that like pushes the boundaries and gets up close.
Here I am with your clothes on.
If he was a creep, right? Like you're literally there. She's leaning into you, almost like she's almost okay with it to a certain point as she's talking. And he stands there, but he stands there, doesn't do anything creepy to me. She's the one that's kind of the creep in this episode, but I like that because it makes the characters like, oh, complex, and they're not just this or this. Like, yeah, I mean, what's wrong with him like thinking that she's like a cool person and over the time of helping her out, like maybe he like really kind of did like sort of fall for her, but have like a crush on her or something.
No, he felt guilty. It's the guilt because that's what she said about.
Oh, it's obviously the guilt because he couldn't save her.
Because the guilt. Yeah. And he's medicating himself. She's not medicating, but he's medicating himself.
Oh yeah, because he feels bad. Like he's taking pills.
Oh yeah, he feels bad.
But like, how is that creepy? Like,
I don't know. It was creepy when she woke up and then he was like over her like that, and then she's like, kind of like
he's like,
jumping.
yeah, but he wasn't doing it. He's doing what somebody like
Oh,
in
he's
his
trying
field.
to get her.
He's
to
a
wake up.
doctor.
I
Yeah,
know.
he's a doctor. He's trying to make sure she's okay. Like she had a head
I don't know.
injury.
That whole relationship seems a little creepy to me.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying I think it's cool that it's kind of creepy and on both sides. It's not just like a easy, non-complex, simple. Oh, he's a creep. Like I felt a little bit about what you talked about the first episode, but in this episode it kind of switches because she's the one, like I said, that pushes the boundaries. Like she's the one that's doing that kind of stuff.
But she knows because she's doing it to make him uncomfortable because how he's feeling.
That's creepy.
No shit. The both of them creeping together.
That's uncomfortable. That's helping you out.
Yeah, I don't like them. Yeah, those scenes like that, I didn't really. I'm with Greg. I'm the least favorite. My favorites, obviously, when she killed her family, got back at all of them. And the stuff in when she realized that her brother said that he couldn't get her out. You see her turn in there, like I'm gonna have to like stay in here, and then
at that point you're like not trying to even.
And then her figuring out that Magpie, like, how are you getting this stuff? Oh, are you being paid by them? Like, is that how they're keeping you? They're giving you the drugs, so you're trying to be like my friend and stuff. And then she kills her.
The Magpie scene
now,
the Magpie scene where she like busts her head open and stuff and kills her. To me, she played innocent this whole time, like, and was doing the innocent stuff before like everything happened, and then she had to play a different role. But to me,
that's when the switch happened in her.
No, but I'm saying, like, to me, that means the inside of her, it was in her the whole time.
No
but
shit.
It had been awakened.
That's anybody. You're being tortured. You're in there, and you're surviving, and you're thinking like, okay, the 6 months, and then they're like, you're not having a trial. You're going to be in there for a long time. You're in there. They wrote this stuff, and then the switch went on her. She's being tortured all this time. So now all that torture, you're gonna snap, and she did. And now this is what she said when she said to the little girl, that she did bad things, and she's like, yeah, I had to fight the monsters. This is the monsters that she
in like different ways. I mean, some people in that position,
they wanted her to stab that girl and kill her, and she didn't want to do it. So that whole snap happened after when they told her she wasn't coming in, and then that's when she killed Magpie.
100% though. But
that's when you see the snap.
They all don't snap the same time. Everybody doesn't walk in there and start bashing another person's head open over a table. Some people would snap and go.
They wanted her to do it before that because they took the stuff off of they chained the other girl up, and they gave her.
They didn't want her to kill obviously the Magpie character because Magpie was actually helping her out. She figured it out. She was like, "Oh, you're in the cell next to me to keep an eye on me."
Yeah.
And
that's why they're giving you the bliss drugs. That's what that was that she had. It was the bliss. That's how she knew about bliss, and why she has it out on the market now, trying to sell it because she knew about that. That's what they were giving the inmates in Arkham.
The people that make it this far in this episode, I just want people to realize that I'm in the Central Time Zone, and it's almost 1 o'clock, and we're all three still wide awake talking about this show.
There's so much to talk about. We didn't talk about a lot of things.
I'm on the East Coast, and it's 2 a.m. almost.
Yeah, exactly. But my point being is like we're all like wide awake, having like spirited conversations and like discussions about some of the things that we thought in the episode, because and stuff like that, things that we saw or noticed.
I can't wait till the next episode to see what happens, to see the stuff with Oz again, and then see what she does with her. Is that her cousin? Is that guy her cousin, or like just the father's right-hand man?
Oh, Johnny V.
Oh, Vidi?
Yeah,
he's not part of the actual family, but he was a person that like got himself into the family. Like he's not family, but he's family.
Oh, because the other girl's name was Carla Vidi, right? Like the cousin.
I think it was a wife, no? Or
I don't know.
But regardless, there's a lot of things, man. Like I said, you could do a deep dive on them. It's great. I mean, we keep bringing up like another like scene or something. We're gonna.
I know, and I can't keep going because I don't have my plugins in the other room, and I'm at 20% now.
But like straight up,
I give this episode an 8.5.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg. What was your score?
Oh, this episode, like got to be like a 9. It's just really good actor. Like she's probably like right there with Oz. I probably get a nod to Oz because the transformation he had to do with his old features and stuff. But she's right there on top of acting, and she just
Bro, I think,
and she's right there, and she knocked this episode. This writing was beautiful. It was
like,
great.
I think everybody in there's not out of the park, even the Victor character, the kid, because like I disagree with what Ferris said the last time when he was on here with us, when he was like, oh, it's easier to play like dumb and stupid, and it's harder to go in. Bro, this, I'm gonna put it to you like this. This actress is playing Sophia. She has it. She's got a natural ability. If she were, I guarantee you, if she walks in any room without her even trying, she's going to gather attention. That's just how some people are. They just have it, right? Just like a football player that's like the fastest one out there. He didn't like, he can work to maybe get it a little better, but he was naturally gifted. She's a naturally gifted person, and walking into the room and the attention goes to her. That's just, some people have that like X factor or whatever you want to call it. And it's a natural thing. You don't have to necessarily work your craft. That kid playing and having to go against her as young as he is, and being able to like bounce off of her and still play the dumb character and everything else. To me, I disagreed with Ferris on that. I was thinking about that after we did that episode, and I'm like, nah, man. I think that kid playing Victor is as good. I'm not even trying to say one of them's better than the other one. I'm just saying he's as good because he's able to stay in that character with this other person in there. And I think it's actually more difficult for you to play and make it believable playing the dumb character, right? Like when you're not probably that dumb in real life, obviously. Whenever you're playing a character, you're having to dumb yourself down. You have to keep yourself that way. I actually disagree with Ferris on that point. But, man, this is tough. My favorite scene, I love the whole her walking through the house. Because like I said, I love that. She did the Aubrey Plaza, but did it better to me. Like she's freaking killed all these people in the house, you know, and she's just doing it. It didn't take away from it. It was like, oh, this fits perfect with this character. She didn't skip 3 times like in a row or 4 or 5 times in a row. She didn't do a total crazy looking dance move like I was talking about when she undid the hose thing that she had that was filtering into the house. When she undid that and when she was grabbing that cap, she just did like a little move that was kind of like her almost doing like a little split second of a little dance move to make it quirky, and she tightened the thing on there. But she did that just little skill.
Fluidly.
Yeah, she did that little skill. And it just wasn't overdone. It was perfect, awesome. So yeah. But that whole scene of her walking through the house, my least favorite scene, man, and this is like hard, like I said, because I don't think there's any bad scenes in this episode. To be honest with you, almost every scene was almost needed too.
I hated her father. Her father setting her up. I hated that.
Hated sunglasses.
I hated sunglasses too.
Super dumb,
man. But even those sunglasses fit the time. Like, oh man, this is horribly difficult to pick something. I tell you what, I didn't need to see. I'll say my least favorite scene, and that's because I think it's the only thing in this episode that I really didn't have to see, but I'm glad I saw it. And that was the very beginning of the episode when we got to see and hear the conversation that was actually going on right before the kid ran the car in there. Because I think it would have still been an impactful episode and stuff, and we could just assume that obviously he's caught. Like I understood in the last episode at the end that he was kind of caught red-handed when Homegirl said what she did, that we did get to hear that he was kind of caught playing both sides already. That just set it. I'm glad we saw it in this episode because it set it in stone that yes, he's playing both sides, and now she knows and everything else 100% sure. There's no doubt there. So I would just say that us being able to hear that conversation, because I didn't need that to understand that the penguin kind of like, it's like, fuck this. He even says like, screw her, get out of here. Like, you know, so we already knew that like him and her wasn't going to be working together anymore. So like we didn't absolutely need it. So I'll say that's my least favorite, but I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad it was there. Like it added a little bit more to it, so I thought it was actually good.
So what was your score?
Oh, this is I'm gonna pull a Greg here. It's a 9.2.
There we go.
I almost added a 0.27.
Ooh, there you go.
Bro, this is
8.5.
I almost want to give it a 10.
Yeah.
I almost want to give it a 10, dude. Like for real. As far as one episode by itself, I don't want to give the whole season so far a 10, but my grades have been pretty high on every episode. So the whole season's probably right now is because I think it's only 8 episodes. So we're like halfway through. Actually, it may only can't remember. This one might even be shorter than that. But 4 episodes in, like I'm probably at almost a 9, high 8, almost 9 right now on the entire season. But I think this episode, like you said, how many times have we sat down to talk about an episode of television so far since we've been doing the post credits? And Brandi comes in, and the first word she uses, which I thought was really good, was powerful. Mm-hmm. It was powerful. Mm-hmm. That's a big word to be using about a show that you just watched. Like straight up 100%. And I love watching things where I think the people that created it are smarter than I am. I love it. I do not like watching stuff where it's like, bro, like I do not know how to really write television, but I think I possibly could have did better on this particular moment. And I can't do that in this show. I don't think I could do that in the House of Dragon overall, or even The Last of Us, which is The Last of Us is coming out. We'll definitely be covering that show whenever The Last of Us season 2 comes out. And everything else. And we'll also be covering the Skeleton Crew. And if you'd like to do that stuff or you want to join us on watching, please let us know and join the Ko-fi account and be able to come into the Discord and hang out with us and like watch the shows with us, man, and have fun and be able to do what we do. Come on here and discuss these episodes like we do. Get hot and heavy, deep into the weeds. Deep into the weeds, but like
the other way, Greg.
wrong side, Greg. You got to do the other hand. There you go. Bro, what are you doing? All right, so speaking of being lost in the weeds, I think Greg's there.
I'm on that bliss, son. I'm on that bliss.
Yeah, he's on that bliss, bye. But nah, man, it's like really fun. And you even have fun with some of the shows maybe you don't think as good, but you still have fun. I was talking to Brandi about it the other day. Like, I still have fun, even though I'm not loving Agatha. I'm still having fun watching it because you guys are there and stuff. So, like, we're going to keep going down the road, I guess, when it comes to that. Feel free to
call me out on things, because apparently I'm the only one that gets called on things, even though we all agree on the same thing. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, well, talk about that later. Anyway, so with that being said, well, I guess we'll go through. Has anybody got any last things to say about the show that maybe we overlooked?
Yeah, I'm just excited to now we got Vic and Penguin, and Oz set up together. Now we got them, the both families, chasing after him, So I'm just excited to see what's
going on. Well, there's not much of the other family left.
Yeah, Sophia's ahead of the family now.
Now they're going to take out the other family, I think. That's what I think. They're going to go out and try to take out the other family, which... I mean, you see powerful women. You get the woman on the other side. You get the woman on this side. Yeah. Hey, they don't have penises, and that's what she said. Hey, you don't get nowhere in this world without a penis, but these two women are.
But yeah, and that just like, this is a perfect show, and the House of Dragons is a perfect show, where your main characters are freaking women, and guess what? Nobody does. Complains about them because they're written good. I'm tired of every time someone complains about a show that ain't good, and we all know deep down in our hearts it ain't good, it's got to be because you don't like women, or you don't like this, or you don't like that. That's why you don't like the show. Well, not because the show ain't bad, but because you don't like what a character is, or what a character looks like, or what a character look.
No, I was only saying that because she said it in the episode that she's a woman.
No, I know that.
She doesn't have a penis.
This ain't to you. This is to the people out there. I'm tired of that stuff happening. Like, because this is another proof. There's diversity in this show. Strong, powerful women in this show. Like, she took over this episode. Nobody talked about it except for how good this episode is. If you go online right now, there's not going to be nobody talking about how dumb it is. They're going to talk about how good this show is. Just like there's a lot of positive reviews and people pumped up about House of the Dragon. Nobody complains about that stuff. Why? Because it's good shows. It's a good, legit show. When you have a bad show, people are going to complain. Stop making easy excuses and outs about why people are complaining about your crappy show. It sucks. That's why people are complaining. Because even the people that don't like it for the bad reasons can't complain about a show that everybody loves, because guess what? They get dunked on. If there's no reason for them to be negative about the show and they're being negative about it, they're going to get dunked on on X, in social media, and the YouTubes. They'll get trashed. If you're coming out and saying, like go on X right now and say, one of the classics, Godfather. This is like a Godfather style show, so we'll use that for the example, and say the Godfather sucks. You're going to get dunked on, because the movie's well received by most of the people. There's going to be a cute couple of little smatterings of people out there that's going to agree with you, but I'm tired of all these people just like, stop it. This show is great. Just like Brandi said, it's got strong in this particular show, because there's not as many characters. There's a bunch of side characters. There's only like 3 main characters. We have a strong, powerful woman, like she just said. We got the Penguin who's doing his thing. And then we have what you would say was a person of color, a diverse character in Vic that's in the show. 3 totally different peoples that have totally different backgrounds, that are totally different, and have their own little things or whatever. And guess what? Nobody's complaining, because it's a good show. Bar none, it's a good show. It doesn't have nothing to do with that other crap. So I had to say that. Whatever. People ain't even gonna make it to the end of this most of the time anyway. So they ain't gonna hear what I just said, but it is what it is. I think what I said is important, because I just think it's just happening way too much, and I'm tired of it happening in my entertainment. I want to talk about the show for what the show is. Brandi's phone's about to die. I know your phone's about to die, girl. Like, you fine. I ain't even read the private message you just put up there.
15%, I said.
Like, yeah, we still got, like, you said that 15 minutes ago. Like I said, we got I know how batteries on phones last. We got like 15 more minutes to go. Well, that being said, we will get out of here. This is how you know this show's great. Whenever you look at the time that we spent talking about an episode that's an hour long, and we spent over an hour talking about it, and could keep talking if Brandi's phone wasn't dying. That's how you know it's good television. And I'm super hyped, man. I love when I get to see great entertainment that's just fun, and anybody, I think anybody could watch this. Like, Adelia hasn't joined us on this show yet, but I'm going to recommend it to her, because this is a show that she could get into and that she could like. And it's not too far like grotesque or whatever. It's got like tense moments in it and everything else, but it doesn't go super crazy with all that stuff. I think she could possibly do it. The Arkham, this, hey man, hey, yeah, this episode did go hardcore. I love the fact that Arkham was that hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to see things. Yes, it's a bad thing happening, but it's fake, people. They're trying to show you how bad this place is. And to be able to do that, they have to show it to you. When she gets first taken to Arkham, it is horrible. It was at points uncomfortable to watch. And if you are, like, especially if you're a woman that some dude was trying to overpower you and stuff, whenever she first gets there and they're like doing the whole, like, making you do the shower thing and scrubbing you and everything else, like, that could be very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable to see. But, like, that's the thing. Don't hold no bars. That's what makes the story great. Yeah, that's uncomfortable, but guess what? You're watching a show that's supposed to have uncomfortable things in it. We're talking about bad people. Bad things happen. Like, tired of that crap too. Hey, you keep making faces over there, we're going to keep going. All right. With that being said, we are out for real right now. Peace, everybody. Please.
Hangman.
Yep. Do that hangman. Do that hang. Whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to make a new song or something. But
no.
Let's do the thing. Let's get out of here. But please like and subscribe. And like I said, if you can, for just a few dollars, join the Ko-fi thing, man. Join the Discord. Join the family here that we've created, and friends and stuff that we do, and hang out and watch these shows and stuff together and have a good time.
Throw them dumps.
Whoa, do what?
Centauri, what does it say?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. I hit the wrong thing again.
Of course you did. I knew that would happen.